Hello viewers, and welcome to another entry in the LOTR LCG progression series by Cardboard of the Rings, the bi-weekly podcast about the Lord of the Rings the card game, which is a living card game by Fantasy Flight Games. With you as always, my name is Mitch, and joining me is Matthew.
Hi there.
And today we're going to be taking a look at our very first promotional scenario, which is the Massing at Osgiliath, introduced at Gen Con 2011. So Matthew, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about the story for this scenario?
In today's adventure, our heroes are scouting the ruins of Osgiliath, and they make a terrifying discovery. Sauron has secretly maneuvered a large army onto Gondor's doorstep, and now threatens to overthrow it. Our heroes must cross the Anduin with dire news that must get through to Minas Tirith, and that is that the war hosts of Mordor have taken Osgiliath and march upon the White City.
Alright, so now that we've finally moved beyond our Shadows of Mirkwood cycle of adventure packs and moved on to our first new scenario, we're going to be making a little bit more of an effort to speed up the introductions to some of these videos. So in the interest of brevity, why don't we go ahead and jump right on into my deck. Today I'm going to be running 2 leadership heroes and 1 spirit hero. So the goal of this deck is going to be as much action advantage as possible. A lot of readying effects, Frodo to facilitate undefended attacks, a lot of cheap allies with a lot of specialty allies like the Rittermark's Finest to knock out some very specific Massing at Osgiliath locations. I've got cancellation effects, a lot of threat dropping effects, and the focus here is cheap allies and lots of actions. A little bit of attack bolstering and some card draw, all sorts of good stuff like that. And Matthew, what are you going to be running today?
In many senses, my deck is similar to yours, though I'm using 2 tactics hero, Gimli as always, and Boromir in addition to Eowyn. Again, I've got cheap allies, I've got cancellation, I've got card draw, so let's hope that that's enough.
Alright, well, with that said, why don't we go ahead and make sure we shuffle our decks, and we'll draw our opening hand of 6 cards right before we do our setup here. And it looks like my first hand is actually pretty spectacular, so what are we seeing from you?
I'm going to hold on to mine as well.
Perfect. Unless things go really wrong, this is a very strong hand. So we both pass on mulligan?
Yep.
Alright, so we've both got our starting threat set. Mine is going to be 30, yours is going to be 31. And let's go ahead and take a look at our actual setup for this scenario. So we take a look at Quest Phase 1A here, and it says search the encounter deck for 12 scout cards. There's going to be 3 different kinds of scouts in this scenario. We add 1 copy of each of these 3 for each player to the staging area. So you can see we've already got 6 enemies starting the game in play. We also add the Witch-King, to the table but out of play, and then we shuffle any of those unused scout cards back into the encounter deck. So why don't I go ahead and shuffle the encounter deck at this point. We've got 6 allies here on the table, or 6 enemies. We've got 6 other copies shuffled into the encounter deck, and we also have the Witch-King sitting here on the table. So the Witch-King, this terrible adversary, isn't actually going to come out and battle us until the very 4th and final quest phase, but in the meantime we just have a host of awful enemies beginning the game in play. So we have the Snaga Scouts, which at the beginning of the encounter phase are both going to engage the player with the lowest threat, which is likely to be myself. We have these Wolves from Mordor, which are also going to be engaging us on the very first turn, probably taking 1 of these each, and we also have the Wain Riders, which have a much higher engagement cost, and it's going to be our goal to basically end the first turn staging without having the Wain Riders come and engage us. So with that said, who's going to begin the game as the first player?
Let's not break tradition, and you can go first.
Alright, so why don't I go ahead and kick things off? Why don't we go ahead and do our very first resource phase and draw a card? Alright, so I think for my very first turn, since we want to try and get cheap allies onto the table to get rid of these wolves from Mordor as quickly as possible, I'm going to steal 1 resource from Prince Imrahil and 1 from Aragorn, and I'm going to go ahead and play Steward of Gondor on Aragorn. I'm going to go ahead and trigger that right away, and I think I'm going to go ahead and pull 2 resources off of Aragorn, in order to put into play a Guard of the Citadel. So I'm probably going to end up committing Aragorn to the quest. I'm probably going to end up doing some undefended attacks from Snaga Scouts, so I might not be able to kill both of these little guys, but this wolf from Mordor, if I can get it out of play, that would be fantastic. But what can we expect from you on this first turn?
First card I'm going to play is also a cheap ally, Vassal of the Windlord.
Glorious.
And then I will play a Horn of Gondor on Éowyn, so hopefully that will help pump up my spirit. Oops, I took a resource off her because I was just talking about her. Pump up her resources to play the spirit cards I draw. And that is it for me.
Something tells me some allies might be leaving play very shortly, so
yeah, I think so.
Seems like a good investment. All right, so why don't we go ahead and do our very first quest phase.
Okay.
So if I commit, I could easily do, I suppose, 6. Who are you thinking of sending? I'm definitely going to do Imrahil and Frodo. Our goal here is to not gain 4 threat, so the Wainriders don't come and harass you.
Yeah, we're up against 8, so certainly sending Éowyn and Boromir. So
Okay.
5.
5. I suppose just for safety's sake, I should send Aragorn.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go ahead and send 6. I guess we've got a new version of OCTGN we're using here and a new version of our LOTR LCG set. So we've actually got a willpower counter now. So we're going to be sending a total of 11 that we can certainly modify by ditching cards to Éowyn should we need to do so. So shall we go ahead and reveal our first turn worth of cards?
Yep.
All right, and just to verify that we have indeed shuffled the encounter deck, I'm going to go ahead and do that one last time. And let's go ahead and see our very first turn's worth of cards. So card number 1 is a Ruins of Osgiliath. So if we have not crossed the Anduin, this gains +3 threat. And this is the reason that we included the Rittermark's Finest in this deck. So this is going to be 4 threat against us right now, which is not a good sign.
No.
So currently we're up against 12 threat. Card number 2 is a Cut Off, which is Doomed 1, and we have to discard all ally cards from our hands if able. So I cannot cancel this effect.
I can't either.
Alright, so Doomed 1, go ahead and boost your threat up to 32. And we've got to go ahead and discard our allies. I'm going to be getting rid of Faramir and the Rittermark's Finest.
Yeah, Rittermark's Finest and Wingardium. That's pretty stinky.
That's miserable. And that means we're going to be up against 12 threats. We committed 11 willpower. All of the cards in my hand are pretty amazing. Do you have a card to ditch or no?
So no, I don't think, now that I've lost those precious allies, I don't think I want to get rid of anything else.
Okay. I guess at this point, we have to ask ourselves, is losing 1 attack power to one of your characters worth the threat? So let's say at the end of this turn, you're going to be at 34 threat if you have to gain a threat right now.
Right.
I don't know if it's going to make enough of a difference. So
yeah, I say pitch it. Because I would be pitching something that boosts attack as well, so...
Okay, so I'll get rid of this Dunedain mark. So I'll boost our willpower to a total of 12, which means we're going to break even with the 12 out here. Both of us got rid of a Rittermark's Finest, which sucks. But at least we've made it past this first staging, and your threat is only 32.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, why don't we go ahead and do travel? Shall we go to Ruins of Osgiliath?
Sure.
Okay, so we've got a stipulation here that we cannot travel to West Bank locations, but as this is East Bank, it's perfectly legit, so we'll travel here. And this brings us to Encounter Phase. So at the beginning of Encounter Phase, both Snaga Scouts are going to come down and engage me, and then these wolves from Mordor are going to engage us. So we could each certainly take one.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so let's do that. I'll take this one, you can take that one, and let's go ahead and do combat phase. So starting with first player, highest engagement cost to lowest. Alright, and resolving my combats, let's go ahead and do wolves from Mordor versus Guard of the Citadel. Shadow card is nothing at Pelennor Fields, so good to see this gone.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Guard of the Citadel is going to be killed. And, of course, Éowyn, you collected her resource. Imrahil is also going to ready. And let's do this Snaga Scout here. I'm going to go ahead and do an undefended attack on this first Snaga Scout. And there is no shadow effect. So I'm going to go ahead and assign that 1 point of damage to Frodo. And I'm not going to trigger his response. Snaga Scout number 2... Oh, I'm sorry, this Wolves from Mordor, after it destroyed that Guard of the Citadel, it's going to be shuffled back into the encounter deck. Okay, so Snaga Scout, I'm also going to do undefended, and this is a shadow effect. It gets +2 attack, or sorry, 2 total attack, and I'm going to go ahead and assign that 2 points of damage to Prince Imrahil. And I think that's it for me. So how do you want to deal with your Wolves from Mordor?
So lots of different options here, but I think what I'm going to do is defend with my Vassal of the Windlord.
All right, so in the interest of just getting it off the table as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it has a nasty shadow, which I don't want to see again, but I think it's what I'll do.
Yeah. So let's flip its shadow card, and it is, if this attack is undefended, it gets +2 attack if a scout. Don't mind seeing a Wainwright or Captain gone. So the Wolves from Mordor is going to kill your Vassal. Horn of Gondor triggers, and Wolves from Mordor is going to be shuffled back into the encounter deck.
Yep.
And attacks. I'm going to go ahead and have Prince Imrahil attack one of these Snaga Scouts, so he'll swing for 3, and he, of course, kills the Scout. And that's all I'm going to be able to do. So, shall we refresh?
Yep.
Alright, so refresh. I will make you first player. Moving into the resource phase. Be sure to draw a precious, precious card. I ended up getting another creature ally that's adept at destroying locations. But what are you going to be doing for planning?
I am going to play a Gondorian Spearman.
Okay, great.
And that is it for me.
Alright, so for me, I'm going to go ahead and pay 2 spirit resources from Frodo, and I'm going to go ahead and play Unexpected Courage on Gimli. And that's it for me.
Okay.
So, questing.
I will send Eowyn and Boromir.
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and send a total of 6. I'm going to strip 1 resource to ready Aragorn. So we're going to have a total of 11. And let's go ahead and do our staging. So card number 1 is a Ranger of Ithilien. So the first player takes control of the Ranger, exhausted and committed to the quest. And then he gains Surge. What's glorious about getting this Ranger here is the 3rd quest phase. In order to commit characters to the quest, that player has to discard a Ranger of Ithilien card he controls. And since you've got Eowyn, this is spectacular luck that you got the Ranger. But he does gain Surge. So to replace the Ranger, we've got a Ruins of Osgiliath, which is another 4 threat location here. I'm going to go ahead and modify our willpower committed to the quest to be 13 because of the Ranger, but we did draw this 4 threat location here. Let's draw another card, which is a 3rd Wainwriters. And the scary thing about this guy is every time he deals damage, you know, beyond the defense value of the character that is defending, you have to raise your threat. So this could be quite a bit of threat increase. Of course, Gimli could potentially do multiple defenses for you. We've got a lot of threat reduction effects in these decks, so that may not be the end of the world. We're going to be up against 10 threat, which is making 3 progress. I could drop something into play to destroy this Ruins of Osgiliath in the staging area, but I'm not really in a big rush to hurry through this quest. So, so shall we just take our 3 progress?
Yep.
Alright, so let's do 2 on Ruins of Osgiliath, and 1 on our quest phase here. Now, engagement. How do we want to do this? We've got 3 Wainwriters. Or I guess we'll travel first. Shall we travel to Ruins of Osgiliath?
Sure.
Okay, so let's go to another one of those. What do we want to do about the Wainwriters?
Well, their engagement cost is 35. I'm at 33, so they're 2 turns away for me. I certainly could defend one of them, but then that means...
You'd gain a threat.
And then I get both of them next turn, no matter what. So I don't know.
I think the big concern for me is dealing with them as quickly as possible, just so we don't allow things to really add up against us. If Gimli takes a little bit of damage here, depending on what you've got in your hand, if you can bolster his attack even more, a few threat here and there is probably much preferable to getting these guys out of the staging area as quickly as possible and not letting, just a big horde of enemies come and engage us all at once. So I think probably better to do it now as opposed to getting a doomed one card and then dealing with three of them next turn.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So I'll take one of them.
All right. So let's take the first one. All right. So let's go ahead and do combat. So first player gets shadow card first. How do you want to deal with Wayne Rider?
I'll have Gimli. It's attacking for 3. Yeah, I'll have Gimli.
All right. So Gimli is going to defend. Shadow card is remove all defending characters from combat. This attack is considered undefended.
I'm going to hasty stroke that.
Okay, so no interest in taking 3 damage and 3 threat?
Nope.
Okay, so captured Watchtower is gone, and Gimli's going to take a whole 1 point of damage, and your threat goes up by 1. So let's see, Snaga Scout, I'm going to go ahead and do another undefended attack. And the shadow card is nothing. I'm going to put that 1 undefended damage on Prince Imrahil. Because since he already had the shadow cards that are like 2 damage to defending character, the blood is already on his hands. So he's at no more risk with 1 point left than 2. And how do you want to attack back Wayne Riders?
Oops, I just moved Unexpected Courage instead of tapping it. So I will, Gimli is now swinging for 3. So I'll ready Gimli with Unexpected Courage. I'll ready Boromir and raise my threat by 1. And then both of them are enough to kill the Wayne Rider.
All right, so had to gain quite a bit of threat there, but at least 1 Wayne Rider is gone. And on my turn, I'm going to go ahead and have Aragorn swing at that Snaga Scouts. And now there's only 2 copies of the Wayne Riders in play. So, shall we refresh?
Yep.
All right, so let's boost our threat by 1 yet again. If you'd make me first player, I'll draw my card, do my resources. Let's see. I guess I'll play a Silverlode Archer during my planning, and that's going to be it for me.
I am going to put a Dwarven Axe on Gimli.
Okay, great.
And that is it for me.
All right, so that's going to bring us to questing again. I could certainly try and take one of these Wayne Riders. Let's see. I've got both Frodo and Aragorn as pretty capable defenders here. I guess I'm going to go ahead and commit my 3 heroes to the quest, and I'll trigger Aragorn's ability to ready him. So I'm going to be sending 6.
Okay. I will send Eowyn.
I'm actually going to leave Frodo open, now that I think about it.
All right, so Eowyn sent, and then I'll send the Ranger, so I'll send a total of 6.
Okay, so that is going to make a total of 10 between the 2 of us. So why don't we go ahead and do our staging. So card number 1 is a Wolves from Mordor, and at least that means there's 1 less shadow effect in the deck. Card number 2 is a when revealed, raise the total threat of the staging area by 1 for each scout enemy in play. If there are no scout enemies in play, it's going to gain surge. So this is going to end up bringing our total threat in the staging area to 8. I'm okay with just letting that go. I don't know if you happen to have any cancellation effect. I don't.
I think it's fine. We still make the 2 progress and clear the location.
Yeah. So let's leave that uncancelled. Let's go ahead and do 2 progress to get rid of Ruins of Osgiliath. And that is going to bring us to engagement. So we've got a few things here. Both of these Wayne Riders are going to come to you. This Wolves from Mordor, I suppose I've got an ally that I could throw to it. Scary thing is it's going to keep diving back into the encounter deck, and that's a pretty nasty effect it's got. I guess, let's see, what is the easiest way of dealing with these?
Well, I mean, my threat is 36, so taking 2 threat-increasing enemies is sort of scary to me.
Yeah. I could definitely take a Wainwriter. The scariest thing for me is if I do, say, a defense with Frodo, and he gets a deal 2 damage to him shadow card, then the Wainwriter is going to end up killing him. I guess I could... I've got a sneak attack in my hand, and I'm real hesitant to sneak attack an ally into play just to defend against one of these guys. And then I really want to be able to kill it on my turn. Let's see,
if you defended with the Archer, and that would ready Prince Imrahil with Aragorn, that's enough to kill it.
Right, I guess that's true. I didn't think about that.
And Éowyn would get a resource.
Yeah.
Not that, she needs any more, but she would.
Well, that's probably the safest thing. So do we want to do... I'll optionally engage a Wainwriter.
Okay.
Do you want to optionally engage a wolf? And maybe defend with, say, Gimli?
Sure.
Because, let's see, if Gimli gets a shadow card that's 2 damage to him, he'll also take 2 damage, and that'll be lethal. Boromir could technically defend against the wolves from Mordor.
Right.
And then he would be okay, even if he gets that nasty shadow card.
Right.
And then Gimli could defend against the Wainwriter.
Right.
That's all very tricky. But you've also got the Gondorian Spearman that could defend against the Wainwriter.
Yeah. Which would raise my threat a ton.
And then any threat dropping effects, we'd just have to save for you.
Right.
So,
Which I have none.
Right. But you've also got a bunch of spirit resources. Hopefully at one point, either of us are going to get those Ancient Mathoms, so...
Right, yeah.
Should you grab both of these?
Yeah, I guess so.
Alright, so Wolves and Wainwriters are for you. Let's do our Shadow cards, starting with me, highest threat to lowest. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do Wainwriters, defended with Silverlode Archer. So let's flip that. Oh, crap. Okay, so 2 damage to the defending character. At least I'm glad that I didn't use this on Frodo as a defender, because he would be dead. So 2 damage to the Silverlode Archer, so he immediately dies. Imrahil readies. Éowyn gains that resource, and now this attack is going to be undefended. So I'm going to go ahead and do the undefended 3 to... I really don't want to gain 6 threat from Frodo. But it's, well, I guess I'll do it to Aragorn, and then that raises my threat to 35. And how do you want to deal with these attacks on your side?
Gimli will do the Wainwriter.
Okay. And its shadow card is nothing. So this is a very nasty location that's now gone. He's going to take 1 point of damage, and you've already boosted your threat. How do you want to deal with wolves from Mordor?
I will do my Gondorian Spearman.
Alright. Let's hope for the best. It's going to get 1 damage right away. Shadow card is nothing. So Gondorian Spearman is going to be killed. So that's 1 more resource to Éowyn, and they're going to be shuffled back into the encounter deck. And now, first player, I'm going to go ahead and have Aragorn, Frodo, and Prince Imrahil all swing at the Wainwriter to deal 7 and kill it.
Okay.
And for you,
that was overkill, I suppose. The 6 would have been enough, but I can only send 6, or I guess Gimli's actually swinging for
6 himself.
Gimli's swinging for a lot, yeah. So I'll just send Gimli. Not that it really matters.
All right. So the Wainwriter is also killed, and that means the board is basically clear. All right. Yeah. But refresh. Boost your threat by 1. I will make you first player, and let's draw a card and do our resources. Yep. So I ended up drawing a spirit card that resurrects dead allies. What do you have in your discard pile right now?
We have learned our lesson, right?
Yes.
From a previous game. I have Gondorian Spearman, of course. I've got the Vassal of the Windlord. I have the Riddermark's Finest, and Winged Guardian.
Okay. I guess there's no pressure to play this right away. If we get a cutoff, this isn't affected. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and hold on to it at the present moment.
Okay.
Let's see. I guess anything from you for planning?
Yep, I'm going to play our favorite friend.
I am Gandalf, and Gandalf means me.
All right, and what are you going to be using his ability for?
I am going to be dropping my threat.
All right. So reasonable. It's almost a shame that we can't get that card draw as well.
Yeah.
But be that as it may, nothing from me this turn, I don't think. So
Yeah, I could certainly use extra cards, but at the same time, that threat was getting out of control.
Yeah. And shall we go ahead and do questing?
Yep.
All right, so what from you?
Well, I'll send Eowyn, and I'll send the Ranger, and we only have to make 6. I mean, I guess I can send Gandalf.
Okay.
So 12 from me.
So a total of 6, I suppose. I'm going to go ahead... Oh, 12 from you? Good lord.
Did I have that right?
I guess
4,
you did. 8, 10.
Oh, no, 9, 10. I can't add.
All right. So
Sorry.
I'll go ahead and make it 12 with Imrahil.
Okay.
I suppose just because I have so many resources coming in, I'll send Aragorn and ready him. So I'll suppose I'll make it 14, and I'll leave Frodo open as a defender.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and do staging. Card number 1 is another Wayne Riders.
Good grief.
Card number 2 is an Uruk Vanguard, which has an engagement cost of 45, so let's pretend he's not even here. So that means we're going to be up against a total of 4 threat. We're going to make 10 progress, which means we're going to pass through our first quest phase here. What's a little bit tricky now is now that we're on 2B, we still can't travel to West Bank locations, but we cannot play or put into play more than 1 card from our hands each round. But seeing as how I have 3 cards in my hand, and you have 2 in yours, somehow I don't feel too restricted.
No.
But let's see. I guess that means I can't use sneak attack at all, since that would be playing a card and putting an ally into play. So that's too bad.
Yeah.
But oh well. Shall we skip travel and go to engagement? So Wayne Riders is by default going to be engaging me. I am not going to have sufficient attack strength to kill it. You could defend with Boromir and kill it in return. Would you want to engage it or no?
Sure.
Okay, so Wayne Riders goes to you. Shadow card on Wayne Riders. How do you want to defend?
I'll do Boromir.
Boromir. And no shadow card whatsoever. He takes 1 damage. You boost your threat by 1.
And then Gimli, swing in for 6.
Alright, so Gimli ruins the Wayne Riders. And at this point, we've only got 18 cards left in our encounter deck. 3 of them are cut off. I think there's 2 more copies of the Wayne Rider Captain, a copy or 2 of this Uruk Vanguard, whom I'm okay just having sit in the staging area at the moment.
Okay.
And I think that's it. Shall we refresh? Alright, so refresh. Boost my threat to 37. I'll be first player.
Okay. Oh, draw my card.
Do you want to make me first player?
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Alright, so let's draw my card. I'll do my resources, trigger my steward. I will go ahead and spend 2 from Aragorn in order to play Calabrian Stone. So now I've got Spirit and leadership resources on him.
Okay.
And that is the only card I can do.
Right, so I'm going to put a Citadel Plate on Gimli.
Excellent. So he's now at 9 hit points.
And obviously that's all I can do.
Okay. So I guess that's going to bring us to questing. For me, I suppose we need to make 5 progress. Let's see. I guess there's no reason to not just keep going. So shall I commit, I guess, everybody I've got? I could do a total of, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
And I can do 4, 5, 6. I can send 6.
Okay. So that would be 14 again, and we're only up against 2. Already Aragorn. Let's see. If we end up getting 2 enemies, maybe I should leave Frodo ready. Although my threat is getting awfully high. I suppose I'll just leave it as is. So we'll commit a total of 14. Alright, so card number 1 is Another Ranger of Ithilien. So this is first player is going to take control of Ranger of Ithilien, which is me, exhaust and commit him to the quest. We're going to be sending 16, and this is fantastic because now during the third quest phase, if we both want to commit to the quest, you know, we can both ditch an ally or just save it. I think this is the first time I've seen both allies in play. But anyway, it surges to the Captured Watchtower, which is a 1-threat location.
Okay.
Card number 2 is a Wolves from Mordor. And that means we're going to be up against 4 threat. We're going to make 12 progress, which is going to be enough to pass us through this quest card. And we're going to move to 3B. So now we cannot, let's see here. Progress tokens cannot be placed on this quest card or the active location. We cannot travel whatsoever to East or West Bank. And in order to commit characters to the quest, we have to choose a hero or a Ranger of Ithilien card we control and discard it from play. But it's only 1 progress. So let's not mess this up.
Right.
Alright, so travel. We have the option of traveling to the Captured Watchtower. I would advise us against doing this.
But we actually don't because of
that's
the
true.
quest card effect.
That's true, right. So, anyway, the point I was trying to make is I have an ally in my hand that'll get rid of this for us.
Yeah, so do I.
Okay. Well, great. Let's see. Engagement. So, Uruk Vanguard is going to be chillin'.
Yeah, I can take the wolves.
Alright, so the wolves are going to be yours. This Vanguard has yet to get his +3 attack strength. He won't get that until the final quest card. So shall we just leave him in the staging area?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do a shadow card for your wolves.
And I will have Gimli defend.
Okay, so he's got a big pool of hit points now. Not too concerned about what's going to happen to him. Yes,
of course.
Even with this nasty shadow card, he's going to take it. So 2 damage right away. He's also going to take 2 damage from the wolves from Mordor.
Yep.
Let's see.
I will ready him, and then he'll kill.
Okay, and he's still at, 3 hit points, and he himself is going to be able to swing for 10. So the wolves from Mordor, more than double killed. It is gone.
Yep.
Okay. So, let's go ahead and, I suppose, go into refresh. So, make you the first player. My threat is now 38. I'll draw a card. I'll do my resources. So many horses in my hand. And now it's that moment of truth where we want to be able to get past this quest phase.
Right, so now we can play as much as we want.
Yes, we can.
So I'm going to play a Veteran Axe Hand.
Okay.
And a Rittermark's Finest.
Okay, great. And I suppose for my turn, I'm going to go ahead and pay 2 spirit resources from Frodo, and I will play my own Rittermark's Finest. What is it that you've got in your discard pile?
Let's see. Look at all the cards. Gandalf, of course. Gondorian Spearman, Hasty Stroke, Vassal of the Windlord, Rittermark's Finest, and Winged Guardian.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pay 4 resources from Aragorn, and I'm going to go ahead and play Stand and Fight. I'm going to target my own discard pile, and I'm going to go ahead and pick Faramir to bring him into play. So what's kind of cool about this is we can just have your characters committed to the quest, and Faramir is going to be able to give him a pretty significant boost. And that way I can save a Ranger of Ithilien for when we have to make 14 quest progress here. We've each got an ally for use of sniping, say, captured watchtowers and things like that that come off the encounter deck, so I'm feeling pretty good about what we can do. I suppose I'm also going to spend another spirit resource, another couple spirit resources to do another Rittermark's Finest. And that's it for me. So I think that brings us to questing.
Yep.
Okay.
So I will discard my Ranger.
Okay. So again, in order to commit characters to the quest, a player has to choose a hero or a Ranger he controls. I'm going to go ahead and snag this Ranger. And I will put it in the discard pile for you. I'm not going to commit anyone, so I'm going to keep my heroes and Ranger alive.
So I will send Eowyn. I'll send my Rittermark's Finest.
Keep in mind, any of your characters committed are going to end up getting +1 willpower.
I will send Boromir, And, oh, wow. And I'll send Gimli, well, then I'll just raise ready over. Ready.
Okay.
So I'm sending 2, 3, 7, 8.
Okay, so you're going to send a total of 8.
Yep.
I'll exhaust Faramir in order to make it 9, 10, 11, 12.
Mm-hmm.
So a total of 12. All we've got to do is make 1 willpower, 1 quest token.
Uh-huh.
So, staging, card number 1 is a Wolves from Mordor.
We can never get away from these dudes.
Card number 2 is a Pelennor Fields, which is kind of annoying because this is going to cause us some trouble. But we're only up against 2, 3, 4, 5 threat total. I think you said you committed a total of 12 to the quest.
Uh-huh.
So it's going to be a total of 7 progress tokens made, and that is going to bring us into quest phase 4B. So when revealed, add the Witch King to the staging area. Players have now crossed the Anduin. We cannot travel to East Bank locations. So the Witch King is now entering the staging area on top of all this other nasty stuff. The captured watchtower is now 4 threats. So the Witch King, while in the staging area, all characters get -1 threats. -1 willpower, and after he attacks, he returns to the staging area unless we bolster the defending player's threat by 3. And he's quite difficult to kill.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, I could certainly try and tank him for a little while, or you could try and do the same. Let's go ahead and do travel. So Pelennor Fields, when faced with the option to travel, we have to travel here, or raise each player's threat by 3.
Yeah.
So shall we go ahead and get here?
Yep.
Alright, so let's travel to Pelennor Fields. At this point, we've got to make 22 progress in order to win. Killing the Witch King is not a requisite of victory, and so long as he's in the staging area, we're not really going to be able to do any questing. Let's see.
Well, in a sense, Faramir is negating that.
Yes.
For one player.
Sure,
for both
sure.
of us, but yeah.
Right. So for engagement, the Witch King isn't going to optionally engage with, isn't going to come down and engage unless we want him to.
He comes down in 2 turns for you, but no, I say no, but I'll take the wolves.
Okay. So the wolves, let's see, the thing is, I guess, let's see, Gimli himself is going to be able to swing for, I think, a total of 10. You could definitely chump block the Witch King with your veteran axe hand and start chipping away at him. If next turn you were to maybe get like a quick strike, well, it wouldn't be quite enough to kill the Witch King. But are you thinking you might be able to draw another chump next turn?
Who knows? You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
and I guess you've got your Rittermark's Finest anyway.
Right. I don't have one in my hand.
Right.
So,
just
if you... I mean, I could use the Rittermarks for that next turn, so if you're really concerned, you want me to take the Witch King and deal with him this turn...
I just think we should probably try and get him out of the staging area so we can try and burst through this quest. Okay.
Then, yeah.
Alright, and then I'll take these wolves. So, I'll go ahead and snag those wolves there.
Okay.
And I'm presuming they're probably going to get some nasty shadow effect. But let's go ahead and do cards here. So, encounter cards. I will go ahead and put shadow card on the Witch King, shadow card on Wolves from Mordor. You're first player, so let's deal with the Witch King.
No, axe hand.
And I'm going to feel awful if he gets Wolves from Mordor as a shadow card. But, oh, thank goodness. Okay, so, no effect on the shadow card, first of all. And he's going to deal 6 damage to kill your veteran. And that means Eowyn's going to gain a resource. And do you want to raise your threat by 3 to keep him with you?
Nope, but I have to.
Alright, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
The Wolves from Mordor, and here's the thing, is again, that shadow card could potentially ruin everything. I'm gonna have it defended by, I guess, one of my Rittermark's Finest. Shadow card is nothing. So the Rittermark's Finest is gonna be killed, and Wolves from Mordor is gonna be shuffled back into the encounter deck, which is really a shame, because I would have loved to kill it. Let's see. And I suppose that's all I'm gonna do. How do you want to deal with the Witch King here?
I will swing for 10.
Okay. So he's going to swing for 10, which is going to be enough to put 4 damage on the Witch King's ridiculous defense here.
Yeah.
But that's not too bad. And if, say, I draw a wizard, which, 3 chances out of 38, I could definitely help out. So, shall we refresh?
Yep.
All right, so refresh. Boost my threat up to 39. Yours is 40. And I will be the first player. I will draw a card. Interesting. Let me do my resources here.
Oh, you probably don't still have stand and fight, huh?
No, I use that for Faramir. I do have a copy of a, free action attachment. I'm just not sure who best to put that on. Maybe... Well, I guess in retrospect, on your turn, it may have been a good idea to ready Boromir for another 3 damage on the Witch King.
I thought about it, but it was just one more threat, and so
okay.
I figured I just wouldn't quest with him this turn, and it's the same, same thing.
Sure. I guess if you'd have had a quick strike in your hand, that would have been a different thing, but be that as it may, I've got... Let's see... I think what I'm going to end up doing, and this is maybe a little bit risky just because our threat is so absurdly high, I'm going to go ahead and play Unexpected Courage on Frodo. And my thoughts here are, Gimli's probably going to be able to commit to the quest and attack. Boromir can ready himself. The Witch King is almost killed, and we're probably going to be really close to the threat cap by the end of this scenario, since we haven't gained any, card draw effects or any real threat reduction effects. But I think we're probably going to manage to squeak through this one. So with that said, that's all I'm going to be doing for planning.
Okay, well, let's hope you didn't just jinx us. I am going to play a Vassal of the Windlord.
Okay.
And that is all I can do.
All right, so questing. First of all, I'm going to trigger Rittermark's Finest, Exhaust, and I'm going to put 2 progress tokens on this captured watchtower here. So I'm going to get rid of this 4 threat location, and that was the entire point of... Or, I'm sorry, let me do that after I commit my characters to the quest. So I'm going to commit all my characters to the quest, trigger Faramir, picking myself, then I'll trigger Rittermark's Finest in order to ready Prince Imrahil. And I'll ready Frodo with Unexpected Courage. So I'm going to end up sending, let me pull a resource off Aragorn, a total of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 to the quest. And how about yourself?
I'm only going to send Eowyn.
Okay.
Oh, well, I guess... Well, I don't know what other enemies are coming down. I could send Gimli for 2.
So we've got to make a total of 22 progress to try and win it.
Which isn't possible. So, what are we sending right now?
I, myself, am sending a total of 14.
And I'm making that 18. I have nothing to discard to Eowyn, but you could if you do. 18, I mean, Gimli would only make it 20.
Yeah, I guess it's probably not going to end up making the difference.
I mean... Yeah, I mean, I could if I sent everyone, that'd be 18, 19,
right.
20,
We're still going to end
21,
up making, like, say,
22.
36 over 2 turns.
Yep.
I guess
we'd send 22, but the odds of 2 treacheries...
Yeah. I guess
maybe
just
not worth it.
Hold Gimli back, I suppose.
Okay.
Just so you can maybe splatter a weakish enemy. So
right, so I'll just send Eowyn, so we're sending 18.
Okay, so total of 18. Now, let's hope for something relatively innocent. Card number 1 is... okay, cut off. I guess Doomed 1, and I'm not going to be discarding any allies.
I don't have any to discard.
Okay.
So,
Doomed 1, I'm at 40 threat, you're at 41, and the win reveal does nothing. Card number 2 is a Ruins of Osgiliath. So if we've not crossed the Anduin, it gets +3 threat, but of course we have. So this is only 1 threat, which means there's 3 against us. We're going to make 15 progress. So 7 of that is going to be absorbed by Pelennor Fields, and 8 is going to be going on our active location. If we'd have had our current quest card, if we'd have had the Witch King in play, I don't know, it would have been practically nothing. So Pelennor Fields is going to be 1 victory point in our victory display. And
whoopee.
Yeah, let me just add that real quick. What's kind of interesting is the text on this card. It says, if you've crossed the Anduin, you have to, when faced with the option of traveling, you have to travel here or raise each player's threat by 3. I guess you don't have the option to travel if you've got it as the active location. But anyway, so that is that. For travel, I vote we just leave Ruins of Osgiliath sitting in the staging area.
Okay.
And engagement, we don't have to engage Uruk Vanguard. It's got a 5 attack swing.
But I will next turn.
Yeah. If we even, well, I guess if we win during the quest phase next turn, you won't.
That's correct, yeah. But if we don't, then he comes down to...
Right.
So,
but
all right.
Gimli will be able to kill him in one swing anyway. So, I guess that's not too scary. Well, let's see. If next turn we can do... We should be able to just blow through it next turn, so I think he's fine left in the staging area.
Yep, I agree.
So the Witch-King is going to be the only attacker. Here's his shadow card. How do you want to deal with him?
Rittermark's Finest.
Alright, so shadow card is...
Please, not the wolves.
It is not the wolves, so the same as last time.
Right.
That means he's going to splatter your Rittermark's Finest. Horn of Gondor, I don't even know how many times this is triggered. Someone watching this video, please let us know in the comments below. So Witch-King, sitting here, 7 hit points left. You need to swing for 11, or 13.
Well, then that's exactly what I can do with Gimli and Boromir.
Okay, so the Witch-King is going to be killed, and he is, of course, worth no victory points. So he goes into our discard pile.
But hey, we get props for killing him.
Yes. So there are 8 cards left in the encounter deck.
Don't want to see him come back if we have to reshuffle.
No kidding. And I guess that brings us to refresh.
Yeah.
So, let's...
Oh, did I have to raise my threat after he attacked?
You did,
I sure
yes,
did, don't I? So by 3. 1, 2, 3, and then now 1 for the round.
Okay.
Okay.
And let me see if I did my threat for the round. I don't think I did. So let me go ahead and do that now. I'm going to go ahead and draw a card. Let me make you first player.
Do my resources, because I don't think I did them. And I will play a Gondorian Spearman.
So I have 2 sneak attacks sitting in my hand. No Gandalfs in sight.
Oh, boo.
A little bit annoying, but oh well. Shall we do questing? Nothing for me for planning.
Oh, really? Wow. Yeah, we certainly can. So I will send Eowyn, Boromir, and Gimli.
Okay. And at this point, all we've got to do is make 7 progress.
Yeah.
So you're sending...
So 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, so you're sending 7. I'm going to go ahead and send all these characters, so it should be the same as last time. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Faramir makes it 14, so we're going to send a total of 21. Why don't we go ahead and do encounter card number 1.
Okay.
Is a more gold win. So while it's active, it gains forced. When a character commits to a quest, deal 1 damage to that character. It's got a miserable shadow effect, but we don't have to deal with it. Card number 2 is a cut off. So doomed 1, and you're sitting at 46.
Well, just for fun, because we're going to win, I'm going to... Oh, wait, no, the win reveal doesn't do anything, because we have nothing in our hands.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Totally lied. Totally lied. Doomed 1 we can't avoid, so... so, there we go.
All right, so...
Darn, I wanted to cancel a treasure. I'd had it from the beginning, but nothing's been that bad.
Yeah, so cutoff does nothing, and that means we're going to end up being up against 4 threats. We've got 21 committed to the quest, which means we're going to end up making 17 quest progress, which is going to leave us with 25 out of 15 progress tokens required. At this point, we have defeated the stage, and even though all this stuff is sitting in the staging area, we have won the game. So, Matthew, what are your thoughts about the massing at Osgiliath?
I think this is only the 2nd or 3rd time I played this quest, once solo, and then I guess I played it last night with a friend to sort of prep myself, and last night it went way worse than this did. I think we actually got that location that just came out, the Morguldian, as a shadow effect, so that was really nasty. And it was on one of those stages where we had to make just something ridiculous. So it's definitely a tough one. Our score's there's so much red on the table. Our score is really going to suffer as a result of that. But at the end of the day, I don't care about score because we beat it by the skin of our teeth. I'm at 46 threat, near dead heroes, not 1 card in hand, which has been a test of will I've had from the beginning. So yeah, it was definitely fun. I'm glad we beat it. I thought this could end up potentially being a quest we had to do over and over and over, but we one-shotted it. Yet we lost Hunt for Gollum, so go figure.
Yeah, it's, you know, I don't think the encounter deck was too easy on us this time. We were certainly spared having more Goldwyn as the active location, which just really shreds countless characters. You know, countless times Wolves from Mordor re-entered the encounter deck, even it was almost impossible to defend it at some point just because we had so many allies, you know, leaving play and heroes that were too wounded to be able to deal with it. So it just gets a little bit more and more dangerous each time, where it's maybe the ally is killed outright because it got Wolves from Mordor as a shadow effect, and then it's going to have an undefended attack of 4 that you have to end up killing a hero. We obviously didn't bother including any lore healing effects in this deck. We didn't have Beravor at all. We really just wanted to try and get as much shadow effect cancellation as possible, as much action advantage as possible. I guess my deck didn't really end up doing too much, but those unexpected courages on Gimli were fantastic. Citadel Plate, he is just an absolute beast. I certainly benefited plenty from Prince Imrahil's readying, but I really feel so long as you can get a little bit of a, you know, foothold once you overcome the initial surge of enemies in the staging area, this quest ends up being relatively doable. I'm pretty surprised neither of us ended up digging out any of our threat reduction effects. I guess you got Gandalf at one point, which saved you from hitting our threat cap of 50, but pretty disappointing to have 2 sneak attacks in my hand at the end of the game and no Gandalf to pop in and out of play. So
yeah, definitely in hindsight a good choice to lower my threat. It's cool to see both Rangers come into play. Yeah, just overall, you know, I mean, it's, I will say that now that this is the first quest in a while that we've not had card draw, and it was sorely missed. I had 36 cards in my deck. Never saw Ancient Matham, never saw Galadrim's Greeting. There was a whole lot of things that I never saw, which is, you know, par for the course, I think, for a lot of games. But stuff I was really hoping to see, I didn't. But hey, it still worked out at the end.
Yeah, I guess I'm just glad that these decks worked out. I guess Matthew and I talked quite a lot about what we were going to do in regard to design. My initial thought was trying to abuse Sneak Attack, just because I feel as though if you can Sneak Attack Gandalf in the beginning, maybe eliminate a Wainwriter from play, have his Sneak Attack presence kind of override a first turn cutoff, that might have been really handy. But overall, I think these decks did great, and I'm glad that we don't have to play and replay this scenario. So, anything else worth adding?
No, I'm just excited to get into Khazad-dûm.
Certainly. All right, well, I think that about says it. So as always, thank you guys so much for checking out yet another video in the LOTR LCG progression series. Just like Matthew said, up next is going to be our look at the new hero and player cards of Khazad-dûm, and then after that, it's going to be all into our brand new 3 scenarios. So very much looking forward to it. If you guys want to go ahead and leave some comments below as to what you think we maybe could have done differently in approaching this scenario from a deck building perspective, if you want to share any experiences you yourself have had in the massing at Osgiliath, we'd be happy to hear about those. So with that said, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.